Hello one and all, welcome to Seeing Through Glass, welcome to Portugal, welcome to the first ever Seeing Through Glass / Behind the Glass driving tour. For nearly 10 years on this channel, I've tried to sort of virtually bring all of you along with me on various adventures. And then over on the podcast, Tony and I regularly talk about adventures we've been on together. So it kind of felt only right that at some point we try and do an adventure that some of you can join us on. So a couple of months ago, we quietly announced this event over on the podcast and sold 10 spaces for some of you to come on an epic week away with us. This is a trial. This is something that Tony and I are doing for the very first time. We hope to do more, but today I did want to bring you along with us to give you a teaser for what we're thinking of doing and also showcase this unbelievable week, because we have loads of amazing cars, most of them Porsches, incredible destinations, amazing scenery, and a ton of fun to be had. So come with us on our first trial Seen Through Glass / Behind the Glass driving tour here in Portugal. That first morning is just full of expectation and excitement. We'd all met each other the day before. We'd actually been go-karting, had an amazing sort of welcome drink and dinner, but this was the first time we were seeing each other's cars, getting prepped, getting ready, and just wanting to hit the road.
So the plan for day one is that Sam would lead the group, I would be at the back, we'd keep everyone together, and we'd have a nice steady drive, probably at least until lunch, and then we'd evaluate the situation then. That was what was in the memo. Unfortunately, Sam didn't read the memo and basically, well, sodded off.
Yeah, I got a little overexcited. I was just so happy to be out in my car on beautiful Portuguese roads. I was excited for the week ahead, and I was just like slowly ramping up the pace. And if I looked in my rearview mirror, there was always one or two of the gang with me. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, like this is great. It's gonna be a fast week. But then we ended up on this long straight, and I looked in my mirror, there was like one car with me and no one else. I was like, oh no. I got on the walkie-talkie, everyone was out of range, I had to pull over, I called Tony, I was like, where are you? He's like, where are you? And then it dawned on me that, yeah, maybe I'd gone a little too fast, too quickly. So yeah, look, I was having a good time. I was enjoying myself, forgetting that I was supposed to be leading a convoy of 10 paying guests. Oops. So yes, for this trip, I bought my GT3. Firstly, because as I was just alluding to, this has inadvertently become a Porsche tour. I mean, we did not hope or expect for everyone to turn up in Porsches, but I think like 9 out of the 12 cars that are here are Porsches, and most of them GT department Porsches. It's quite outrageous. I would have liked a little variety, but you know, hopefully we'll save that for the next time. But anyway, I'm definitely fitting in this car, but it's not the only reason I bought it. I haven't driven this thing in anger for like 6 months, not since Tony and I took both of our GT3s down to the Red Bull Ring in Austria. So I've missed driving this thing. I mean, I have been using it in the UK, but just not doing anything that exciting. Got just over 10,000 miles on the clock now. It's not enough in my mind. You know, I always bought this car with the aim of taking it on big adventures, on doing road trips like this. It's why I sort of spec'd it in this touring-esque specification. So I'm very happy to be out on dry, sunny roads in mainland Europe. But also, let's not forget, I've got a role to play this week. I'm not just here to have fun. I'm going to be leading the convoy at times, I'm going to be following the convoy at times, I'm going to be in the middle of the pack, and the GT3 is perfectly positioned to, well, do all of those roles. I'll keep up with the pace, I can control the pace. Tony's been giving me a bit of a hard time regarding the manual gearbox. It's not out of character for Tony to give me a hard time about the manual gearbox, but he's like, look, you're going to have to get on the walkie-talkie every now and again. You're going to have to be keeping an eye on the route. Sometimes you're going to have to stop and call hotels or restaurants. Even on the move, you might have to call hotels and restaurants. You're going to have to also be then changing gears. Man, yeah, it's a lot of work. But he only says that because he he can't really drive.
So I also decided to bring a Porsche on this trip, a 718 Spider. It's a PDK, what I would consider a beautiful spec, black on black, some yellow details, ceramic brakes, semi-slick tyres, so ticks all the boxes. It come into stock, so I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to take that on the trip. Get the roof down. I'm in Portugal, beautiful sunshine. I was going to bring the wagon. I was going to bring the M3. But I'm super glad of my choice now.
Now, because of my slightly overexcited, spirited driving, by the time we got to the first coffee stop, we felt like most of the guests were looking around being like, is this really the pace that we're going to be going at for the rest of the week? So we thought it was important to kind of calm everyone down, chill them out, treat them all to some nice coffees and pastries. So look, we're all about genuinely giving maximum value, maximum return on investment to our customers for this trip. We're trying to look after them in the best way possible.
Make them feel special.
Make them feel special. We just stopped at a coffee stop. Guys, this is on us. We got this, guys. Have whatever you want. Have a pastel de nata. Have 16 coffees. We got this.
Have an aqua.
Bill came in and Tony's like, what's that cost us? And I was like, we've just spent 13 euros. I'm not joking, on like 58 coffees.
That's what it felt like.
I was like, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Maybe we should have been like one coffee each. Maybe we just blown out the whole thing. Why do I live in the? That's one flat white where I live.
It was definitely 25 drinks, 100%. Because some people have 2 drinks, they have waters, lemonades, iced teas.
I'm still going to pretend like it was 50. Oh yeah, remember guys, we got you those coffees earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. Nice spot.
Put it on the bill next time.
So after that extortionate coffee stop, we decided to split the group. Rather than travelling as one pack, we thought we would half the cars. Tony would lead one half, I would lead the other. And it was the best decision we made because from that point forward, it was so much easier for us to manage the groups, manage the pace. I think everyone enjoyed the driving a lot more. Everyone started to really find their feet. And as we headed on towards the coffee stop and into the afternoon, things just felt like they were getting better and better. There was one little hiccup though.
Only one?
Well,
it might be more than one, mate. There's more than one that I can think of.
well, I'm particularly talking about the time you decided to stop for a wee.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got to go a wee, no?
But you forgot to tell anyone.
Well, I was at the back.
Well, clearly. I suddenly get a call from one of our guests saying, were we supposed to turn right at that roundabout about 3 hours ago?
Yeah.
I was like, no, it was left. Aren't you following Tony? Like, we haven't seen Tony for about an hour and a half. I look in my mirror, you're the back of our pack.
Well, that's what really got me, because I went for a little
comfort break.
Comfort break. Went for a little comfort break, and I thought I'll catch them up. Like, it won't be long. And I was driving like really quite fast for about 15 minutes, and I thought, oh. And then I saw your car in the distance. I come over a hill, and I thought, oh, it's like half the group not here. Where have they gone? Because I've driven en route.
Apart from that moment though, do you not feel that at that point we were starting to find our flow, find our feet? It felt like the group were kind of figuring out the dynamics, like people were starting to enjoy their cars a bit, like it felt like we were starting to really be a convoy.
Well, don't forget, mate, as well, is that a lot of the people that come on the trip, one, they'd never done the tour before, and secondly, it's the first time driving their cars.
Oh,
they had not driven their car before. And
literally, they bought their car like weeks before and never driven it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes sense that it took a little bit of time to get up to speed, but I do think, yeah, after that lunch stop, as we were up and running, it was like, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah.
It's actually happening.
This is a tour.
We all survived day one, no one crashed, no one died.
No one died.
Can you believe it?
No, I did nearly have head on.
You nearly died?
Nearly died, mate. In a, not my fault.
Yeah, you would say that.
No. Black Renault Clio was completely on my side of the road, on a main road. Just
overtaking someone? Or
No. I was just driving down the road, and it literally just veered onto. He must have been on the front. He must.
Just green?
Poo come out.
Yeah.
Mate, it weren't funny. Well, we've had a lovely afternoon.
We had a lovely afternoon.
Did you?
I like my group.
Do you?
Yeah, well, we had a great time and we had such a nice time. We took in the views.
I've got some yachts in my group.
You got some yachts, yeah. I think it took us half a day to figure out. I think we now know how to split it. You can take them lot in the morning. We'll just cruise. We'll cruise along. We'll have a
I've
lovely
got
time.
the yobs, your group's got blue blood.
Yeah, I've got the gentleman.
Yeah.
And then Alex. This place is... Got the shot, mate?
I've got lots of shots, mate.
If you want to give up the
Day job.
day job. So I'm going to try and give you a little bit of a behind the scenes look at what's going on today. We're kicking things off with a group photo. We haven't had a chance yet to really kind of stage the cars and have them all together in front of a beautiful location, and I thought today was a pretty good way, or pretty good time to do it. The thing is, the cars are filthy, and well, Ben, our photographer, is taking quite a bit of time. He's currently trying to get up there to the tower, and everyone's like, oh, come on, Ben. I know it'll be worth it for the shot because I really like Ben's work. But yeah, everyone's quite keen to get going. So this is always the hard thing of juggling content and then actual driving. But it's good. Anyway, here are all the cars staged up, ready and ready to go. And at some point, Ben will pop up. There he is. Popped up at the top of the tower to get the shot, and then we'll crack on. Better get out of the way. I guess now is a good time to kind of run through all the cars that are on the tour, because we haven't actually done that yet. Obviously touched on the fact that I was there in the GT3, you were there in the 718 Spider, but we had also a 997.2 GT3 RS.
Yeah.
I obsessed over that.
Do you know what? Actually, as the week went on, I started to gain some more respect for it as well, because obviously, as some of you will know, unless it's like 2022, I'm not interested.
Tony doesn't like an older car, and you can barely call a 997.2 GT3 RS an old car.
No.
But in Tony's mind, it's a dinosaur.
Yeah.
The GT4 RS,
Yeah.
that was wild. Delivered with about 500 miles as well, so that was essentially a brand new car.
Pretty much.
We had the 991.1 GT3 RS, the ultralight, the purple car.
Great car.
Still looked, I mean, that looked bang up to date,
Yeah,
didn't
it did, yeah.
The
Yeah.
front number plate fell off on the
Well, that
on the
happened to
way.
me on my car as well.
It was, I think, the Portugal sun, heating up the glue, the stickers.
Yeah.
They were just falling off and we just couldn't find them.
Yeah.
So, looked amazing without the plate, though, I have to say. God, I wish we could get away with it more often. The Aston Martin DB12.
Which was very interesting for me, because I always, like, sometimes harshly, poo-poo Aston Martins.
Regularly.
But it was unloaded off the truck, and I literally said, I'm taking that, because I wanted to have a look. And I got in it. I was very pleasantly surprised, mate.
Lovely interior.
Very nice, yeah. And then later on in the trip, I did have a little drive of it, not a big drive. It's still not me, it's a big front engine car, so it's still not my remit essentially. But I can see why it's a lovely car now.
Absolutely. It's a proper bit of kit and really held its own amongst a group of Porsches.
Yeah.
So to continue the Porsche thing, that stunning GTS red 718 GT4.
Yeah, it's very lovely
colour
colour.
was in the sun was unbelievable.
Yeah.
992 Turbo S.
Turbo S.
Lovely bit
With
of
no
kit.
sports exhaust.
No sports exhaust, which is a running joke throughout the
All
week.
week.
Looked good though. The 997.2 GTS manual, that is right up my street.
Right up your street, and again, kept up all week, mate.
Was
that
being
car.
hustled, that car.
Yeah.
Never was dropped back or, credit to the driver.
Credit to the driver, and it also goes to prove that regular podcast listeners as well will know this, is that anything 400 horsepower or just over is more than fast enough for the road.
Am I missing anything if I then move on to
The 296.
the Ferrari 296 GTB? I would argue the heavy hitter of the group.
Proper
Bit of kit.
Yeah.
Equipped with carbon fibre wheels.
Yeah.
I mean, expensive. They're about 20 grand, I think, for the set, and impossible to repair.
Yeah.
So if we'd accidentally curved any of those, I say we. If the driver had accidentally curved any of those, big trouble.
Yeah.
And then finally, Jaguar F-Type.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my personalities. I mean, initially I was a little like, oh, it's all a load of Porsches. But actually, if I look at either of my channels, it was only ever going to be either Porsches, Ferraris, or F-Types.
Yeah.
And essentially a DB12 managed to stick in there.
Just to sneak in, yeah.
So I was ecstatic to see the F-Type in this stunning, it was called Fire Blue, a colour I'd never seen before. I actually fiddled with the car a little bit.
Well, you broke it.
Well, no, I didn't break it. I broke it on purpose.
Yeah.
I ripped the exhaust, the switchable exhaust fuse out just to make it sound a little bit better. For any F-Type owners out there with a new era F-Type, if you want a secret trick to unleash a bit of sound, you've got to get in here, which is going to be the fuse board. But we're going to take all of these out. Thank you so much. Pull that very gently off there, and there is said fuse board. So that bit comes up, and we are looking for number 15. Oh, yes, it is number 15, but I don't think that's quite right. Hold on a sec, I want to triple check this now. Do you have your handbook on the glove box?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep that one very safe. Let's start the car just to make sure I haven't pulled out the brakes or something before we cover it all up. It should be immediately noticeable. Okay. If you just, where's your exhaust button?
Yeah.
Push it, it should just flash. Do nothing. There's nothing there. Like it's flashing, it's like. Let me know how you get up.
You were here, weren't you?
I hope so. The fuse went back in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
He was like, I'm not it.
You had such a great time, you put it back.
Yeah. But it was a wicked group, because as I say, if you think
Very
about
good.
it, yes, it was very Porsche, but a huge variety of Porsches, and then these little droppings of other amazing cars. And all together, I think in front of that tower, they look pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Now, whilst I was looking forward to every single day of the tour and the route for the entire week, there was a particular part which I thought would be my personal highlight. If you watch this channel regularly, you know a lot of my solo drives are up mountains, or at least big hills if I can't find mountains, or volcanoes. I just like to get some altitude. And Portugal's highest point is in a national park, the Serra da Estrela National Park. I think I've nailed that pronunciation. Probably not. But anyway, it is full of incredible mountain roads snaking up the sides of these various mountains. And my GT3, a group of incredible cars, I hoped it was going to be special. And boy, oh boy, when we got there, it did not let me down. We have to offer for people to go to the hotel now, because it's 5 p.m. and the hotel's 30 minutes away, or we can do the hour-and-a-half loop that keeps going up. And I feel like we pretend.
We don't want to go home.
We don't want to go home.
We
want to do the big loop. So we're like, oh guys, there's a road closure, so we have to keep going.
We have to go the long way.
Do you think we can get away with that?
Yep.
We did actually manage to convince all of the group to follow us up and over the mountain. But then at dinner that night, we were all talking about how amazing it was. I managed to convince 2 or 3 of them to wake up early with me the next morning and go back up into the national park once again. It wasn't actually part of our originally planned route, but it was only going to add like 45 or 50 minutes, and there were a few roads which we didn't do the night before. So I was like, come on, if I was here alone, this is what I'd be doing, so come with me. Some of them agreed, and
I think they are very happy they did so, because this is what I'm all about. Early morning drives up empty mountain roads. Superb.
So meanwhile, I'd been left with group 2, essentially. So we had a little bit more of a chilled morning. I'd left the hotel a little bit later, had some extra croissants, nice latte, which I love to drink. So we left about 9:15, 45 minutes before group 1, essentially, which was my group. We thought we'd be having a nice steady drive, because what I thought, obviously, is that I had fast group and Sam had slowly group. But turned out it wasn't quite like that. And when we stumbled across some, what I can describe, unbelievable roads, well, it turned out it was probably one of the highlights of the whole trip in total. The roads were absolutely fantastic, and do you know what? I think the Box the Spider really come into its own. There were nice sort of mid-section flowy roads, but with a bit of technical in them as well. And I think I really started to gel with the car at that point. And do you know what? Everyone behind, I think they were having a lovely time too.
Mate, what a morning, honestly. We were flat out this morning. It's the first time I've driven with the fast boys this trip, because I like cruising. I might stick with the fast boys this afternoon. Anyways, lovely ice cream in there, mate. It's had a very soggy cornetto.
Oh.
But it hit the spot.
What about coffee?
Yeah, everything in here. But there's like, the lads have walked up to a sandwich shop up the hill. There's got options for days. The day continued to be absolutely sensational as we rolled our way towards Porto, which definitely wasn't the end of our trip, it was the end of our sort of dedicated driving days. When we got there, we joined on to the incredible Gathering Supercars event, which was wilder than even I expected or imagined. Some 300 odd supercars taking over Porto. It turned out to be a perfect way to celebrate our first kind of trial tour. So I guess the only way to wrap things up is to, well, I guess ask you your takeaway from the trip. We did highlights over on the podcast, but this was us having a go, right?
Yeah.
Seeing if this is something that we could do something more with, maybe even build into a business. How are you feeling now? A few days later, looking back at it, are you missing it? Clearly that's a no.
No, there's a few things that I miss. I miss being not in this country. Yes. I wish I was in Portugal still in the beautiful hot sunshine. And like we said on the podcast, we were surrounded by 15 really lovely people that, like any trip, is always made by people. And this trip was made because of them, essentially. And the bonus was we had some amazing roads, some beautiful cars. Are you all right, mate?
Getting emotional.
Is there an ambulance? Do you want me to get you an ambulance?
I'm genuinely crying. A little bit of a sore throat. You're right, though.
Yeah.
I put up a cheesy post on Instagram saying, it's the cars that bring us together, but it's the people that make it special.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the best way to sum up this trip.
True.
It's the thing I didn't really expect. I sort of thought we'd get cool cars. I knew we'd have great driving roads, amazing stops. You never know with the people.
You thought we was going to hate the people.
No, I didn't think that, but I had no clue.
Yeah.
And then we were just treated to this fantastic group.
Yeah.
And from very early on, this kind of great chemistry between us all. Everyone seemed to enjoy each other's company. It meant all the driving experiences, all the post-driving experiences were just fantastic. And I miss the people.
Me too.
You know, of course I miss driving my car on sunny roads because it's back to the UK in 7 degrees, even though it's basically May, so love this place. But yeah, that whole vibe is what I miss. And there's a WhatsApp group, and it's still going. It's still kicking off 3 or 4 days after the tour ended, popping off every day. And it's kind of nice to see. It feels like real friendships have been made.
Absolutely, yeah.
That definitely encourages me to go on and do it all again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So watch this space. As I say, this has just been our little teaser as to what we got up to. There was so much more which we couldn't film, we didn't film, felt like we couldn't share, but also we didn't want to, because I think a whole part of trips that we do in the future, right, what goes on tour stays on tour. It's got to be special for the people that are attending. Whilst I'll always try and share it with all of you, I do want to keep some of it back, and it feels like some of the real special memories are going to be up here or in that WhatsApp group, and that's what I kind of love.
And obviously, if you really want to know what goes on, you better come.
Well, there we go. He's a professional now, Tony. I've trained him up well.
You've done me well.
Stay tuned, because yes, we are going to be announcing our second trial event again in Europe, which will be happening a little bit later this year. So keep a close eye on the podcast and here on the main channel. In a few weeks' time, we'll be telling you the details of how to apply for a space on that second trial event. And look, if that goes as well as this one has, 2025 and onwards, watch out. We are coming to you. We're bringing a group, and it's going to be Larry.
Really Larry.
I hope you've enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Stay subscribed for plenty more videos to come.